Oh, hi, I'm Nat Wallen, and I'm a realtor in Charleston, South Carolina. Thanks a lot for looking at my series of video tours on the Charleston, South Carolina area. This is pretty self-explanatory. I just wanted to show you something on my website before the video starts. If you look down the right-hand side at natwallen.com, you'll see all the different areas of town. So basically, if you're interested in a video tour of Mount Pleasant, then just click on Mount Pleasant, and you will find a about a 10-minute tour of the Mount Pleasant area. And also, you might want to look at these green buttons. What I've done is I've pre-built searches. So if you're looking for one-story homes, two-story homes, waterfront homes, etc., foreclosures, they're already pre-built and ready to go. So it's real simple and user-friendly. There you go. Enjoy the tour. Thanks a lot for visiting natwallen.com, and happy house hunting. Oh, hi, I'm Nat Wallen. I am a realtor in Charleston, South Carolina. Thanks for taking my Mount Pleasant video tour. I've lived here my whole life. I actually grew up in Mount Pleasant, so I know the area well. I've seen it grow a lot. And I thought it would be good for us to just kind of take a look at the layout of the town. Just to get your bearings, here's downtown Charleston. And this is West Ashley here, and James Island over here. So let's first of all take a look at the Arthur Ravenel Bridge. I like to call it the Cooper River Bridge. And we'll take a look and see what kind of photos we can find. Well, this one should be good. This bridge was newly built back in the, I guess, early 2000s. And interesting fact, back in the early 90s, our old bridge, which is here in the background, there were actually two of them, pretty rickety. They were built in the 50s. A big section fell out, and about the size of a Volkswagen Beetle. So what they did is they stopped traffic, of course, and they did lots of stress tests. They actually parked 18-wheeler trucks full of rocks across both of these bridges, and they found out that repairing it was not an option, and so they built the new bridge. It's a great bridge to walk across. There's actually a walking line down this left-hand side, and it's a really pretty way to view Charleston. Let's see if I can find another photo or two. Well, that's not a very good one, obviously. Anyway, here it is, and it's again a pretty nice way to kind of take a look at the city. Let's take a look at the foot of the bridge in Mount Pleasant. I think this is pretty important to kind of get a layout of the land in Mount Pleasant. I like to kind of think of it as kind of broken up into two sections. And Highway 17 running north here kind of splits it all. And the areas that are close to town are generally more expensive and older. I actually grew up over here in Old Hobcaw. And to give you an idea of timing, you could be downtown across this bridge in about 6 minutes from Old Hobcaw. Let's take a look at the other side of Mount Pleasant first, which is the Coleman Boulevard side. In fact, this is kind of a nice place to go. This is Patriots Point. There's a marina here. This is a naval museum, and a golf course. And let's see if I can find some photos. Yeah, so you can get an idea of what it looks like from there it is. So that's looking at the harbor and looking at the bridge, and off to the left would be downtown Charleston. And there might be another good photo here. Let's see what we can find. Yeah, there's a beautiful picture of the marina looking onto downtown Charleston from Mount Pleasant. So the Coleman Boulevard side is kind of an interesting part of town. It's the older section, and it's not as fast as the Highway 17 side. It's a 4-lane road, and it offers some good restaurants. In fact, we'll take a look at Shem Creek. Shem Creek is sort of a hub for getting good seafood in Charleston, and it's right in this section here. So coming off the bridge, you would bear to the right. This is Coleman Boulevard. It leads you over a little creek called Shem Creek, and It's a pretty picturesque place. Let's take a look at a few photos here. You can kind of get an idea. It's very low country oriented. Um, it's a good place. Let's see what we find here. Yeah, these are great photos of Shem Creek. So this gives you an idea of what it looks like if you've never been here. These are great photos. Show the area off well, so I'm glad I found these. Lots of boating. This is a very water-oriented community. So this side of Mount Pleasant, the Coleman Boulevard side, is actually referred to also as Old Mount Pleasant, and this area that borders the water for about 3 or 4 blocks is called the Old Village, and this is actually the first downtown Mount Pleasant. And the houses are older, they're very sought after. I'll show you a picture of one. Kind of modeled after downtown Charleston, very very cottagey, this is in the Charleston style. That's a Charleston single style home. Beautiful place. This home here is, if it's on the water, it could be between $2 and $3 million. Interior homes start at about 700 in this Old Village area. And then there's the area that's referred to as Old Mount Pleasant. And these are primarily ranch style homes. There's a great school right here called Mount Pleasant Academy. It's an elementary school. It's great. But let's take a look at an example of an Old Mount Pleasant home. Again, this is an older area. The houses are smaller. Many of them need renovation. But if you're looking to be very conveniently located in Mount Pleasant and kind of the quieter side, to give you an example, from this house you could ride your bicycle to Sullivan's Island in 20 minutes. So if you're adventurous, I'll show you kind of where Sullivan's Island is in relation to all of this. So here's Coleman Boulevard. This is the Shem Creek side on this far right corner. Here's the Old Village. This is the connector that leads, actually the causeway that leads over to Sullivan's Island, which is here. And Sullivan's Island's a great place. It's probably one of the more sought after zip codes along the East Coast. Very family oriented, a lot of history there. Edgar Allan Poe actually used to live there. So we'll talk about Sullivan's Island on another day, but you can kind of get an idea that the older side of Mount Pleasant is a pretty sought after area, but again, you'll get less house for the money. Now, Highway 17, we're back at the foot of the Cooper River Bridge. This is the area we just looked at, Patriots Point, Old Mount Pleasant. So Highway 17, in some cases, can be a little bit of a bear. I mean, it's sort of our commercial strip, and they've been working on it and renovating and redoing roads constantly. It's not gridlock like the Northeast, but if you're traveling to downtown Charleston every day, living in this area, kind of far out, could prove to be a little bit of a challenge. This is an outdoor mall that we have called the Town Center, and I'll show you what it looks like. So a little bit of congestion, and it all kind of started with this big shopping outdoor mall district. It's got some nice boutique stores, great shopping, some good restaurants, big movie theater is there, but it is also a source of traffic. So my point is, living in Mount Pleasant, depending on the circles that you drive in, it's important to kind of be strategic, and it's set up to where you can be pretty strategic. Like this left-hand side of Mount Pleasant, I refer to it as the Mathis Ferry side of town, and if you can be pretty strategic and buy along in here, you can get downtown very easily, avoid 17 altogether, but again, costs a little bit more money to be on this side of town. Let's take a look at Ion Subdivision. This area is very sought after. It's modeled after downtown Charleston, and it's pretty unique in that the houses are you know, very much like I said, like downtown. They're kind of close together, but they're high quality, well crafted homes with a great amenities in the neighborhood. Lots of kids. There's always something going on. There are people of all ages and just a very well-rounded, tight-knit living community that Ion is. So if you're in the minimum 400 to get into the neighborhood for a small home like 1,100 to 1,200 square feet, on up into the millions, it's certainly a good place to at least investigate. It's not for everyone because it's kind of close together, but it's still a pretty interesting neighborhood. So back onto the Mathis Ferry side of town. If we look at Whipple Road here, this is Mathis Ferry. Whipple Road makes the connection. Again, you can avoid 17 and live on this side of town. Here's our major port. And because of the fact that our 526 connector, which is kind of our half circle around Charleston, you can live on this side of Mount Pleasant and be pretty traffic free. Good schools over here, great shopping. Again, back at the town center, at this point, here's our Isle of Palms connector. At this point, Mount Pleasant can just kind of grow on and on and on, and there are good golf course communities out here. Rivertown, Dunes West, they're gated communities. You can get quite a bit of house out here for the money. So let's see if this is a picture of a house that might come up. Yeah, there's an example of a house, 2831 Water Point. And let's take a look at another one here, see what we can find. Oh, well, hello. A lot of people ask about alligators coming into Charleston, and, well, here's one. You don't see them every day, but they're definitely in our creeks and ponds. And so there's Mount Pleasant. I think if you can be strategic in nature, you can certainly find a great place. And you know, again, it's good to consult to really kind of figure out the circles that you travel in. And with that being said, I'd be glad to help you in any way that I can. This is Daniel Island. Look for that in an upcoming video. This is on our Daniel Island page. This is a great area that was actually inaccessible for several years until they built this 526 connector. It opened up all this farmland. It was actually owned by the Guggenheims, and they developed it into an incredibly well thought out community with a golf course and just a really beautiful place. You can see that it's very planned. There are miles of trails, probably 15 to 20 neighborhood pools, kids all around. Daniel Island's a great place to consider if you're thinking about Mount Pleasant as well. I would certainly encourage you to investigate it. And to get in over there, you're probably looking at a minimum of 400, 450, and you can go well up into the multi-million-dollar range. So with all that being said, thank you so much for taking my Mount Pleasant video tour. I know that was just kind of broad brushstroke, but if you'd like, I'd be glad to talk to you further about it. Again, I'm Nat Wallen. Look me up on the web at natwallen.com, and pass this along to your friends if you can. And hope this is helpful. Have a great day, and look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.